Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mystery English Stories. I'm thrilled you're here today because we have an absolutely incredible story that will keep you on the edge of your seat. But before we dive into this mystery, let me explain how to use this video to dramatically improve your English speaking skills. Today, we're practicing the shadowing technique, one of the most powerful methods for developing natural English pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence. Are you ready to learn how it works? Here's your step-by-step guide. First, listen carefully to each sentence I say. Pay attention to my voice, my speed, and my emotions. Then pause the video and repeat the sentence exactly as you heard it. Don't just say the words. Become my shadow. Copy my tone when I'm excited, my whisper when I'm scared, my pace when I'm building suspense. This technique trains your brain to understand the natural music and rhythm of English. It might feel challenging at first, but that's completely normal. The more you practice shadowing, the more natural and confident your English will become. Are you afraid to speak English? Do you sometimes forget words or feel nervous about your pronunciation? Shadowing will help you overcome these fears. It builds your confidence by teaching you to speak with the same rhythm and flow as native speakers. Today's story is called The Mysterious Warning, and it's about a young woman named Jessica who discovers a cryptic message that changes her life forever. It's a story full of mystery, danger, and unexpected heroes. This tale will teach you valuable vocabulary about emotions, daily life, and suspenseful situations. What makes this story perfect for English learning? It uses realistic vocabulary that you'll use in everyday conversations. The grammar patterns include past tense storytelling, direct dialogue, and descriptive language. Plus, you'll learn about modern culture, technology, and urban life. If this story helps you improve your English and keeps you entertained, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel for more mystery stories and English practice sessions. Ring that notification bell so you never miss our exciting new content. Now, are you ready to solve this mystery with Jessica? Let's begin this thrilling adventure. My name is Jessica. I'm 26 years old and I work as a graphic designer in downtown Seattle. This is the most incredible story that ever happened to me. Even now, months later, I still can't believe it was real. It all started on a rainy Thursday morning in October. I had been feeling stressed about work lately. My boss was demanding, my projects were piling up, and I hadn't been sleeping well. So I decided to treat myself to coffee at my favorite little cafe called The Daily Grind. It's a cozy place with comfortable chairs, warm lighting, and the best blueberry muffins in the city. The morning was unusually quiet. Gray clouds covered the sky, and a light rain was falling. I walked the 3 blocks from my apartment, enjoying the fresh, cool air. When I pushed open the cafe door, the familiar smell of fresh coffee and vanilla welcomed me like an old friend. "Good morning, Jessica," called out Marcus, the friendly barista who knew all the regular customers. "The usual today?" I smiled and nodded. "Yes, please. A large vanilla latte with oat milk." I found my favorite spot by the large window where I could watch people walking by with their umbrellas. The cafe was almost empty. Just an elderly woman reading a romance novel, a college student typing frantically on his laptop, and a businessman in a navy suit checking his phone. I pulled out my sketchbook and started drawing while waiting for my coffee. "Here you go," Marcus said, placing my latte on the small wooden table. The foam art was perfectly shaped like a heart. "Enjoy." As he walked away, I reached for the cup to take my first sip. That's when I saw it. A small piece of paper was tucked under the saucer. At first, I thought it might be a receipt or maybe a cute note from Marcus. But when I unfolded it, my heart stopped. Written in careful black ink were the words, "Don't walk home alone tonight. Someone is following you. A concerned friend." I looked around the café quickly. The elderly woman was still reading. The college student was still typing. The businessman was still on his phone. None of them seemed to be paying attention to me. My hands started trembling slightly as I read the note again. Someone is following me? Who would do that? And who wrote this note? I felt a chill run down my spine. I walked quickly to the counter where Marcus was cleaning coffee cups. "Marcus," I whispered, "did you put this note under my cup?" He looked at the paper and his eyebrows raised with concern. "No, Jessica. I've never seen that before. I just brought you the coffee and cup from the counter. Are you okay? You look pale." I tried to smile and act normal, but my mind was racing with questions and fears. I sat back down and pretended to drink my coffee, but really I was studying everyone in the cafe. Was one of these people watching me? The businessman glanced up from his phone and our eyes met briefly. He smiled politely, then looked back down. Was that suspicious or just normal politeness? I decided to test something. I stood up, gathered my things, and walked toward the door as if I was leaving. Then I turned around suddenly and looked back. The businessman was watching me. When he saw me looking, he quickly looked away and pretended to read something on his phone. My heart started beating faster. I sat back down and pulled out my phone. I needed to call someone, but who? The police would think I was paranoid. My best friend Claire lived across town. Then I remembered that my coworker Amy lived just a few blocks away. "Amy?" I said when she answered. "I know this sounds crazy, but can you come to the Daily Grind Cafe right now? I need help with something." Amy could hear the worry in my voice. "Of course. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Are you okay?" While waiting for Amy, I kept the note hidden in my hand and tried to act casual. I sketched in my notebook, but I was really watching the businessman. He ordered another coffee, made a phone call, and kept glancing at his watch like he was waiting for something. When Amy arrived, she sat down quickly and I showed her the note. Her face became serious as she read it. "Jessica, this is really strange. Have you noticed anyone following you lately?" I thought carefully. "Actually, yes. I've seen the same man in the gray hoodie near my apartment building 3 times this week." Amy looked around the cafe. "Which person do you think might be watching you?" I subtly pointed toward the businessman. Amy studied him for a moment. "He does seem to be paying attention to you, but you know what? Let's be smart about this. Let's leave together, and I'll walk you home a different route." We gathered our things and left the cafe. As we stepped outside, I glanced back through the window. The businessman was on his phone again, and he seemed to be talking urgently. "Amy," I whispered, "he's making another call. What if he's telling someone we left?" Amy took my arm. "Let's walk quickly, but don't run. We don't want to seem panicked." We turned left instead of my usual right turn toward home. We walked through the busy shopping district, past the bookstore, around the fountain in City Square. All the while, I kept looking over my shoulder. "I don't see anyone following us," Amy said after we'd walked for 15 minutes. "But let's not take any chances. You're staying at my place tonight." I felt grateful to have such a good friend. We stopped at my apartment just long enough for me to pack an overnight bag. As I was gathering my things, Amy stood by my bedroom window. Jessica, she called softly. Come look at this. I joined her at the window. Across the street, partially hidden behind a parked van, was a man in a gray hoodie, the same man I had noticed near my building all week. Oh my God, I whispered. It's real. Someone really is watching me. We quickly finished packing and left through the back exit of my building. Amy's apartment was a short bus ride away, and we made sure no one followed us onto the bus. That evening, we ordered pizza and tried to watch a movie, but I couldn't concentrate. Who was following me? Why were they interested in me? And, most importantly, who was the mysterious person who left me the warning note? At around 10 p.m., Amy's phone rang. Hello? She answered. There was silence on the other end. Then a man's voice said, Tell Jessica she made the right choice tonight. She's safe now. Then the line went dead. Amy and I looked at each other with wide eyes. Someone knows you're here, Amy whispered. The next morning, Amy insisted on walking with me to work. I don't care if I'm late to my own job, she said. I'm not leaving you alone until we figure this out. We took a taxi instead of walking, just to be extra careful. At my office, I tried to focus on my design projects, but I kept thinking about the mysterious voice on the phone. During my lunch break, I decided to do some research. I went online and searched for news about stalking cases in Seattle. What I found made my blood run cold. There were several recent articles about a man who had been stalking young professional women in my neighborhood. The articles described his method. He would watch women for weeks, learn their routines, and then break into their apartments when they weren't home. The police were still looking for him. One article included a security camera photo of the suspect. My hands started shaking as I looked at the image. It was blurry, but the man was wearing a gray hoodie, just like the man I had seen outside my building. I immediately called the police and told them everything. The detective who took my report was very interested in the warning note. Someone was trying to protect you, he said. Do you have any idea who it might be? I shook my head. It was a complete mystery. That afternoon, the police increased patrols in my neighborhood and installed a security camera outside my building. They told me it would be safe to go home, but I decided to stay with Amy for a few more days just to be cautious. 3 days later, I got a call from Detective Rodriguez. Jessica, we caught him. The man who was stalking you and several other women in your area. He had photos of you and detailed notes about your daily routine. If you hadn't received that warning, he probably would have broken into your apartment that night. I felt a mixture of relief and gratitude. Did you find out who left me the note? I asked. Detective Rodriguez paused. That's the interesting part. We found security footage from the KFG. A woman in her 50s placed the note under your saucer while Marcus was making your coffee. But here's the strange thing. We can't identify her. She's not in any of our databases. What do you think happened? I asked. The detective sighed. I think you had a guardian angel that day, Jessica. Someone who noticed the danger you were in and decided to help. We may never know who she was, but she probably saved your life. A week later, I returned to the daily grind for the first time since the incident. Marcus greeted me with a big smile and a free muffin. I'm so glad you're safe, he said. That whole situation was really scary. As I sat at my usual table by the window, I thought about the mysterious woman who had warned me. Who was she? Why did she help me? How did she know I was in danger? I realized I would probably never have these answers, but I felt incredibly grateful. I pulled out my sketchbook and started drawing. This time, I drew a picture of hands placing a note under a coffee cup. At the bottom, I wrote, "Thank you, whoever you are, you saved my life." As I was finishing my drawing, an elderly woman approached my table. She was well dressed, with kind eyes and gray hair. "Excuse me, dear," she said softly. "I couldn't help but notice your drawing. It's very beautiful." I looked up at her and smiled. "Thank you. It's based on something that happened to me recently." The woman nodded knowingly. Sometimes strangers look out for each other in this world. It's one of the most beautiful things about humanity, don't you think? There was something familiar about her voice, but I couldn't place it. "Yes," I agreed. "I learned that recently. Someone I've never met probably saved my life." The woman smiled warmly. "Well, I'm glad you're safe, dear. Take care of yourself." As she walked toward the door, I had a sudden realization. The voice. It was similar to the voice on Amy's phone that night. Could this be? I started to stand up to follow her, but by the time I reached the door, she was already walking down the street, disappearing into the crowd. I never saw her again, but I kept going to the daily grind, hoping maybe one day I would get the chance to thank my mysterious guardian angel properly. Sometimes I would sit by the window and watch the people walking by, wondering how many other quiet heroes are out there, protecting strangers without ever asking for recognition. This experience taught me to pay attention to the people around me, to trust my instincts when something feels wrong, and to believe that there are good people in the world who help others simply because it's the right thing to do. Now, months later, I still carry that note in my wallet as a reminder that sometimes the smallest acts of kindness can save someone's life, a reminder to stay alert and aware of my surroundings. And most importantly, a reminder that even in a world that can sometimes feel dangerous and lonely, there are angels walking among us. And that's the end of Jessica's incredible mystery. What an amazing story of protection, mystery, and human kindness, don't you think? I hope you enjoyed practicing your English with this suspenseful tale while learning valuable lessons about safety and the power of strangers helping strangers. Jessica's story teaches us so many important things. It shows us the importance of trusting our instincts when something feels wrong. It reminds us that there are good people in the world who help others without expecting anything in return. And it proves that sometimes the smallest actions, like leaving a simple note, can completely change someone's life. This story also teaches us about modern urban life, the importance of personal safety, and how technology and community awareness can help protect us. The vocabulary you practiced includes emotions like fear and gratitude, daily activities like going to cafes and work, and descriptive language for suspenseful situations. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a situation where a stranger helped you in an unexpected way? Have you ever noticed something suspicious and wondered if you should speak up? Have you ever been the person who helped someone else, maybe without them even knowing? Share your experiences in the comments below. Remember, the key to mastering English is consistent practice with the shadowing technique. Watch this video again tomorrow and focus on different emotional moments in the story. Practice Jessica's fear when she discovers the note. Copy the urgency in her voice when she calls her friend Amy. Mirror the gratitude in her tone when she talks about her mysterious helper. Don't be afraid to make mistakes while practicing. Every time you shadow English speech, you're training your brain to understand natural rhythm, intonation, and pronunciation. The goal isn't perfection, it's building confidence and fluency through regular practice. English is the language of connection, safety, and community. Just like Jessica found help through the kindness of a stranger, your English skills can help you connect with people, ask for help when you need it, and maybe even help others in return. If this mystery story helped you practice English and kept you engaged, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel for more suspenseful stories, heartwarming tales, and English practice sessions. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss our exciting new videos. Share this video with a friend who's learning English or someone who loves mystery stories. Learning English is always more engaging when you share thrilling stories like this one. Thank you for solving this mystery with Jessica today. You're doing fantastic work with your English practice. Keep watching our stories, keep practicing your shadowing technique, and keep building your confidence. Remember, every sentence you practice brings you closer to fluent, natural English. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and remember that sometimes the most important messages come when we least expect them. See you in the next story, and happy learning!